So first to introduce myself, I'm John McVeigh. I'm part of the Cloud and Engineered Solutions team at Dell, focused on cloud solutions technology, specifically around Microsoft. I'm going to talk today in this session about where Dell is going with our software-defined strategies, really meant to provide an overview of solutions directions, services, software, some of our guiding directions, a little bit of our strategy in cloud. So when I talk about things like, the software-defined world, from my world, it means it's a cloud world. And from your perspectives, it probably means different things that you do that would be your approach to cloud. So we'll talk a little bit about how Dell views our strategy for cloud, see how that starts to map into your thoughts and your directions, and show some of the different solutions that we have in development, as well as some announcements we have this week at the show here for cloud solutions and our services, software management approaches around cloud. First, for an overview of the Dell Cloud strategy. We're really focused on how we enable the way you want to do cloud from your approach. Is that an on-premise cloud? Is it advanced virtualization? Is it a hybrid cloud architecture? Is it a single public cloud vendor? Is it a multi-cloud vendor? Is it everything? Is it all of these different approaches? So we want to look at how do we enable the answer to those different scenarios from a management perspective, from an architecture perspective, from systems that will help you with managing that type of infrastructure, from the simple virtualized architecture through to multi-partner, multi-cloud management approaches. So we start at the core, enabling the private cloud. And what we're trying to focus on in that area mixes between converged architectures, virtualized infrastructures, full private cloud architectures, fully integrated designs through to best-in-class, best-in-breed capabilities to allow you to do a full DIY type of configuration for cloud. So a lot of guiding principles that we try to apply to help you look at your approach to cloud and what we can offer for simple to deploy, ready to deploy types of architectures, guidelines, guidance tools, services to help you with the deployment of a private cloud or cloud type of architecture. From there, we start to look at what are we doing to help manage and maintain that architecture. From governance and controls, performance monitoring, application integration, provisioning and management, and cloud brokerage. Gets into some of the tools that you'll hear about when you visit our booth, and some of you may be familiar with as Dell users. Dell Cloud Manager, tool to help you manage not only across a hybrid cloud architecture, but multi-cloud vendor approach. So that if you are consuming cloud from Azure, consuming cloud from other cloud vendors, doing your own private cloud deployments, maybe even mixed private cloud architectures, that it helps you to bridge across those systems and across those different deployment scenarios. Integrates with Active Directory, with your control management for user access, so that you can also define user controls, user abilities to get to all of the cloud capabilities that you have, some of the cloud capabilities that you have, basically provision and authorize based on how you want to enable your end users to consume the way you deploy your infrastructure. And then looking at further how you can obtain cloud services. So we offer capabilities that range from the Dell Cloud Marketplace, where we offer the ability to consume cloud from various partners of ours that offer cloud services. Dell also offers a cloud support offering that would enable you to buy a hosted cloud infrastructure and utilize Dell's cloud for your deployment scenarios. Very specific managed services approach that we are enabling for customers in that scenario. The off-premise capabilities with Azure integration into a cloud integrated strategy. All parts of the way we try to bring together, really kind of extending the infrastructure so we can drive beyond what's on-prem or think in terms of here's an on-premise answer, here's a cloud answer, to really what are you trying to consume to best optimize your approach. And I kind of really look at this as how am I extending my infrastructure as an IT manager to gain the advantages where I want them in public cloud, where I want to leverage hybrid cloud types of approaches, and where I want to make sure I have strictly an internal private cloud design, but with the same tenants, the same multi-tenancy management, the same workload management capabilities that I would get from a regular, if you will, a public cloud deployment. From there, it gets into the architectural approach that we have. Kind of start with the basics, what we call the a la carte approach or best-in-class approach. Systems we have are designed for virtualization, optimized with Hyper-V with Windows Server 2012 R2, System Center integration, really trying to offer the entire portfolio from our services, our servers, storage capabilities certified with Microsoft for you to be able to build your own type of cloud approach. From that DIY capable type of approach, the enabled architectures, looking then at fast-track solutions. And one of the areas that we're announcing this week would be a new fast-track solution for private cloud. A step up in that it's a guideline, a reference architecture approach to best-in-class deployments, gives more scalability, validated configurations for doing a private cloud architecture. And then finally, the most integrated design offer that we have would be Cloud Platform System. This is a fully integrated appliance. This is designed by us and by Microsoft as the most robust offering, if you will, that we have. Very deep architectural approach, very rigid design approach for customers who are looking for ready-to-deploy answers of a validated private cloud architecture. Very large-scale design there. We'll go into some examples around each of these architectures. First, for Cloud Platform System. As I said, this was designed by both Dell and Microsoft as a fully integrated appliance, very large-scale design for the Cloud Platform System. 512 cores at the base design configuration. What we looked at with the software-defined architectures was first around virtualization. How do we optimize speed performance capabilities by using a virtualized network rather than traditional networking architectures. Software-defined storage was a core part of the architectural design as well, leveraging the capabilities within storage spaces and scale-out file servers to, again, speed the overall performance, enhance the capabilities for density of VMs in the design. This was purpose-built for hosters, for service providers. The goal was a multi-tenancy architecture with very dense virtual machine capabilities, deep capabilities also in storage. It's capable up to 1 petabyte of usable storage in the design. Also, a fairly rigid architecture in that one of the things we wanted to enable was time to deployment, time to usability. And sometimes I describe this as time to revenue, especially if you're a service provider. The idea of a pre-integrated, predefined architecture, fully validated, real-world tested. So it's not just a simple stack of servers, storage, and networking and Windows software. F5 load balancer, we've got other capabilities built into this so that it is designed as a plug-and-play architecture. We have several customers that have been using it as our development partners, customers that have been using it in production prior to launch. So sometimes describe this as a real-world architecture as opposed to a reference architecture, that the purpose-built system for speed of deployment, speed of enablement. The design processes behind this give us the ability to go from what I call PO to production within weeks rather than months. So depending on the processes you've traditionally done with deploying your own IT infrastructures, that imagine standing up 512 cores, petabytes of storage, full functionality, full capability, plug-and-play usability in weeks after placing the order. So those are the things that we tried to eliminate in this design, and as we go forward with our other architectures, bringing experiences from the design of CPS downscale. One of the things that I've heard from many, many customers, very realistically, is I love CPS, love the idea, love the approach. 512 cores, 2,000 virtual machines, scalable up to 8,000 VMs, fantastic. I'm a mid-sized company. That's a little big for me. What else can you do for me? So taking those experiences and helping to translate those capabilities into usable parts of the overall architectural approach. And that brings us to one of the announcements at this event this week with Ignite of a private cloud fast track solution, highly scalable approach in this situation. If you're familiar with Dell servers, this is using PowerEdge 630 servers. Simple 1U design to the architecture. Simple management and replaceability. What we've done is taken 5 630s or 5 PowerEdge C630 R630 servers, 3 of them as our compute layer, 2 of them for scale-out file servers, taking our experience out of CPS, our experience when working with Microsoft storage spaces, and integrating that into a JBOD modular array ranging from MD 1200s, 1400s, simple small-scale JBOD arrays, giving us the ability to scale to larger storage capabilities so that you can gain the experiences that we have from CPS and have them applied to a scalable, flexible design that will meet your particular business needs when that rigid or that highly defined and ready-to-run type of approach isn't quite your business requirement. This gives us the ability to scale the compute above the starting 3, gives us the ability to scale storage above the base configuration. So depending, again, on the type of workload that you're using in your environment, gives you the ability to take a validated configuration and make the adjustments that you need based on compute or storage to meet your particular design requirements. Still incorporates System Center 2012 R2, Windows Azure Pack, gives you the capabilities for standing up a private cloud architecture. That's part of the purpose design, obviously, behind the private cloud fast track solutions. But with the validation of core architectures to be able to deploy reliably, deploy with a level of guidance and direction on a system architecture, a system design that's fully supported by Dell and follows tenets that we have experienced as well as with Microsoft for doing scale-out file servers, storage spaces, configurations, validated architectures, reliable infrastructures. Part of the other design that we also followed with this includes our networking, Dell networking integrated 10 gigabyte networking switches integrated as part of the architecture. This gives a lot of flexibilities in deployment, a lot of pre-design capabilities for customers that want, again, that CPS type of ready-to-run architecture, ready-to-purchase design, but also because of the approach we have here, in this case, the ability to swap those out for customers who already have integrated networking that they would prefer to use. For software-defined networking, it actually brings to a key difference in the architecture approach we're making with CPS, with this design, with additional designs, that customers have told us that they like the idea of a certain level of pre-integrated design. The appliance is a growing interest, a growing value we find in the software-defined world, mainly because it takes a lot of the complexities out of the overall design. That you don't have to do a lot of the sizing aspects. You don't have to worry about the storage configurations because we can help to enable those elements there. The approach that we take with software-defined networking enables also to treat those switches a little bit more as the pass-through connections. So that it's like the CPS, what we're doing with our fast-track architectures, you're not changing your networking paradigm if you have a network approach already. What you're able to do is take a pre-integrated architecture that gives you the capabilities for doing a private cloud design, private cloud configuration, and integrate that into an existing networking architecture so that it can arrive in a ready-to-run or ready-to-use capability, but also still fit within your networking management paradigms. In addition, we're also announcing this week new architectures that are based on storage spaces. This is a subset out of our experiences, again, with the cloud platform system. One of the things that we found very interesting when we started talking to customers this past October when we launched Cloud Platform System was a lot of strong interest in the storage approach. A lot of customers saying, I really love what you've done here. Simplicity around a storage spaces design. I'd love to buy just the storage. It solves the problems for me about how do I do a validated, a viable storage spaces configuration? What are best practices? What are approaches? So we took the actual experience and the designs for the stability, reliability, make sure that we have the reporting capabilities for drive errors that you expect out of a normal traditional storage configuration, integrated that into an appliance approach, highly scalable, very flexible, ranging from our 1200s, small scale JBOD storage to 3060s, very large scale design capabilities that we use actually within Cloud Platform System, so that you're able to gain, again, the experiences we have for stability and reliability in the storage configuration, built by our storage team, so it meets a lot of the storage requirements that we would do as well around our equal logic and compellent designs in a ready-to-use configuration. Scale-out file servers integrated, JBOD scalability based on the sizes that you're looking for deployment. Some of the base design layout for the architecture, again, it's designed to bring a storage spaces configuration for private cloud. So we've designed it so that you can bring any Dell server to the architecture. So if you're interested in our converged systems with FX, the R630s that we used in the fast track configuration, the C6220s that we use in the cloud platform system configuration, other PowerEdge servers, this gives you the flexibilities to basically, again, build on a solid base for storage and software-defined storage with storage spaces, build your compute layer based on the needs that you have for your specific business area, and gain the stability, the experiences that we have for that software-defined storage, coupled with your compute, reducing the complexities of overall deployments. So for those of you who haven't gone to the Dell booth yet as well, we do have folks, in fact, from our storage team. We have a mock-up that you can see of the storage spaces configuration, as well as some storage spaces configurations in the Microsoft booth. So I invite you to stop by if you haven't, take a look, go into details with the teams that we have here representing these architectures, and learn more about the approach. Again, the idea that we have is to really simplify what can be done with storage spaces, make it highly consumable so that you don't have to figure out how do I architect these things, but instead take the core pieces, scale based on your needs. And I talked a bit about Dell networking approach already. Our approach is very focused on, not only with Microsoft, but across the industry with all of our partners, on a software-defined networking strategy, making sure that we support virtualized networking, looking at specifically with Microsoft, with the architectures that we did with Cloud Platform System, extending beyond that with NVGRE with Microsoft to enable those types of connectivities. The benefit, as I mentioned, is not only to enable a software-defined infrastructure, enable the virtual machine connectivity easily with your storage configuration, but also looking at faster connectivity. That speed is a key driver as we've looked at these different design processes for the CPS architecture, for the private cloud fast track, future systems that you'll see from Dell and Microsoft for the configurations that we offer, that gives you the ability to manage your network through the software management tools that we offer. Take a very different approach. As I said, one of the key aspects we look for is the ability to replicate and easily deploy a core design architecture and integrate into an existing networking architecture. Part of the processes that we then look at once we've defined the core architecture, the networking integration, the storage integration, is around the management. With Dell OpenManage and Microsoft Windows System Center, that we've integrated our capabilities at exposing from the hardware layer through System Center, all the monitoring capabilities of our systems, alerting, enabling remediation issues. There's deep integration work that we've been doing over the years, went even deeper as we developed a cloud platform system to help customers to be able to monitor down to the drive details, basically total system health and health alerts, to be able to maintain the uptime, warnings on potential fail issues, without having to necessarily learn one platform or one management paradigm over another. So if you're familiar with System Center, utilizing the capabilities within System Center, you'll have the OpenManage capabilities exposed, if you will, in that architecture. If you're familiar with OpenManage, great. It gives you a lot of management tools as well, that at the hardware layer, at the total systems layer, to be able to triage troubleshooting issues with the hardware. But we know that a large number of customers are System Center users, and we want to make it as seamless and integrated an experience as possible for managing the overall hardware layer. That in addition, through Lifecycle Controller, which is integrated in Dell servers, the ability to manage deployment and provisioning of those servers through remote access capabilities. We contribute to the capabilities within System Center for firmware updates, patch management, so that our systems are managed through OpenManage and integrated with System Center for, again, that overall simplified management experience. The management capabilities extend also, we're really designed at the hardware layer, at the systems layer. Our management capabilities for cloud and software-defined architectures extend up the stack. So as we get into multi-cloud management, multi-private cloud infrastructures, multi-site type of management variations the customers may be doing, Dell Cloud Manager extends our capabilities beyond the core, extends some of the capabilities as well of System Center and Windows Azure Pack, so that we can help customers to manage multi-clouds, manage across their architectures, manage, as I said, identity controls, manage the capabilities, deployment in these different cloud architectures. And really the design behind that is so that you can take advantage of the way you want to utilize public cloud, the way you want to deploy private cloud architectures. Some design examples is some customers I've talked to, large-scale companies that have wanted to deploy one private cloud infrastructure within a very large environment. Imagine a CPS cloud platform system as that type of architecture, and a regional deployment using the private cloud infrastructure or other types of design that would be a secondary private cloud for that region, but then they'd want to have the ability to see across these architectures and to manage across these architectures. With Dell Cloud Manager, we're able to provide those extensibilities to be able to manage across that design, while also helping to manage connectivity with Azure, connectivity with other public cloud vendors. So it's a strong bridge, strong management tool that helps to extend the communications capabilities that you'd have with System Center at the core design architecture, and go beyond that into, again, the way I approach this, of the full infrastructure of cloud, rather than just what's on premise for cloud, and how do I manage that entire environment. FogLight is another tool that, again, if you stop by the Dell booth, you can be able to meet folks from our FogLight team, talk in detail about FogLight. Management tool to help you with, again, orchestrating and managing a cloud architecture, reporting capabilities, again, extending the capabilities to understand utilization, understand the overall demand scope of your cloud architecture, and to be able to optimize overall cloud performance. As we extend beyond that base, think for everybody, backup, recovery, data has become all-encompassing, probably one of the biggest growth challenges that we have right now in both data growing or storage becoming compute in certain ways. The demand on data access, demand on data backup, data recovery, growing exponentially within our industry. So when we think about cloud, when we think about software-defined architectures, backup is probably one of the key demand issues that you're facing as well. Looking for ways to simplify the cost of demand, the cost of backup, speed of backup are factors that we look at as well. Some examples that we have from Dell range from backup appliances at all scales, so that the size operation that you need, your specific backup model that you want to be able to deploy has several different approaches. Backup appliances are a key simplified approach utilizing Aperture. We're enabling backup off of the stamp, backup off of a CPS architecture or private cloud architecture, public cloud architectures, and have on-premise backup capabilities. Integration also with cloud backup, and that can be in both directions, not only backing up what you have in the cloud, but using the on-premise backup capabilities as that interim stage and a final backup capability to put data at coldest storage, if you will, into the cloud as one example. So we're finding different ways customers want to treat and utilize both cloud capabilities on-premise, cloud capabilities in the cloud, backup capabilities on-premise, backup capabilities in the cloud. And again, for the way you want to approach your business, the security points or other control points that you want to build around backup, that you want to build around recovery, looking at what we can offer that help to reduce those costs, accelerate the overall operations, increase the and optimize the overall capacity of these different approaches so that you can take advantage of where and when you want your data to reside and how you want it to reside. Another factor I think all of us are pretty deeply aware of is security of data, security of the environment, security of communications. And at Dell, we offer a breadth of capabilities with Dell SecureWorks, with Dell SonicWall as two examples for protecting the overall infrastructure, protecting your customers' data, protecting access, protecting email traffic, working on compliance for federal, regional, industry-level compliance requirements, addressing regulations, assisting with audit requirements, that in addition enabling the ability to offer your services, offer your capabilities to your end users, to your customers in a secure, defined architecture, a secure, defined environment. And it addresses the approach overall that Dell has with customers in how to utilize the software-defined architectures, how to utilize cloud approaches, that from an on-premise architectural approach that talks about the private cloud design, converged infrastructures with our FX design, with a dense architectural approach like a cloud platform system design, virtualized infrastructure. That I think cloud for a lot of us has a lot of different meanings. So a lot of customers we talk to are interested in deeply virtualized architectures as their cloud, and that it meets the business purposes that they have. So making sure that our servers are defined and optimized for a Hyper-V infrastructure systems management approach to that design. And the whole purpose is to enable you to cloud your way, to address the ways you want to be able to do your particular architecture. But always making sure that we give you the same basic fundamentals and how to manage that environment so that as you start at, for example, optimized virtualization or enhanced virtualization. And you decide, okay, now I want to put in additional orchestration layers. I want to put in additional multi-tenancy capabilities. I want to start doing chargebacks to departmental groups or end users. I want to just get better monitoring of utilization. I want to take advantage of some of the other features that we think of as being those cloud capabilities and those cloud features, that you can scale that architecture to then add in those capabilities or utilize those capabilities that are already integrated as part of Windows Azure Pack, System Center, Dell Cloud Manager, the other tools that I've mentioned that are available. So that we can manage the portals, the online capabilities, the automation of the environment, orchestration using System Center orchestration tools, Active System Manager orchestration tools. Part of the tool set that we use for deploying networking is Active Fabric Manager, which helps in configuring the networking fabric for CPS, for other designs. Again, simplifying the deployment approach, automating a lot of the processes that can help reduce the complexities that go with a software-defined approach to these systems. And then with application and workload management, not only in the deployment of those environments, but looking at the backup of those architectures, migration of those designs, moving workloads from the cloud and on-prem and back again, expanding to the cloud, taking advantage of hybrid capabilities as peak seasonal demands or other types of demands kick in. So keeping the same basic capabilities around the management framework, the management architecture, to everything from that base, again, as I call it, the advanced virtualization or that base virtualization architecture up to a fully defined private cloud approach. And approaching everything, part of our view is everything is now hybrid. So if you think in terms of extending your infrastructure beyond the walls, that we want to make sure that the tools also extend across those capabilities so that we can have the multi-tenant public cloud, your managed private cloud approaches, and community cloud approaches, ensuring compliance with specific governmental or industry requirements. And across with Microsoft Azure and integrating with other cloud partners as well. So we talk a lot about predefined architectures. We've talked about DIY kinds of approaches, things that come in the middle of all that. Dell Services has the ability to also help branch and define the systems based on what you need for your environment. Really looking at everything from ground zero, full build-up, full new data center designs, approaches to integrate not only the application migrations to these environments. So if you're looking for a Windows 2003 migration still, or looking for other application migrations, again, I come at it from the hardware stack, the overall architectural approach. But I kind of joke that at that point I've given you a very nice shoebox and it's time to fill it up. And we have services, capabilities to help you with the migration of the workloads that can get older environments migrated into a Windows Server 2012 R2 architecture, next generation OS, move from a traditional 1-to-1 ratio application and server, your traditional data center type of architectures, into a deeply virtualized or a private cloud architecture. That I'm finding a lot of customers are at certain stages of virtualization. The next stage a lot of customers start looking for is how do I optimize into that private cloud approach? That brings another stage with your workloads, with the applications that you want to utilize in that environment for optimization in an IaaS architecture, optimization with the ability to build back or manage utilization of those approaches. So our services team can help with everything from core architectural design through to workload migrations, application migration, app repo activities, and then base deployment of these types of architectures, so of CPS, of the private cloud architecture, of the new storage architectures. And then some examples of what customers have done. So first, in one of our early adopter partners for cloud platform system, worked with Dell and with Microsoft for the deployment of their private cloud architecture. The specific needs were to stand up a hosted environment that would achieve both their government compliance as well as create a publicly accessible cloud architecture. Benefit that we brought to them with the cloud platform system was an integrated managed architecture, manageable architecture that enabled them to deploy a multi-tenancy environment for that cloud utilization, meet their government requirements as well, with the storage integration, the isolation of each tenant so that data was protected within the overall design. The N+2 approach to the architecture, highly resilient, highly scalable design to CPS so that they could have an always available approach that highly available, highly reliable for customer satisfaction. Key values, we talked about this at the beginning, key values of the architectural approach is time to deployment. That by having a set repeatable process, they were able to reduce their overall time to meeting customer needs from months down to days. One of the key factors, key benefits that you can gain from looking at software designed approach and then an integrated architecture approach is the speed of deployment. And depending on your particular business demands, that speed of deployment can make a significant difference in the revenue capabilities of that architecture. So when we think of private cloud, we often think in terms of what is the opportunity to you, whether it's to meet internal service needs or to meet external customer needs. So how do I manage that experience? How do I deliver on that overall reliability? The other factor was the easy scale of the architecture. That in this case, when we look at the cloud platform system, the scalability is a plug-and-play design. That you're receiving the exact same architecture every time, fully integrated, ready to roll, simple networking integration, a few steps on site for final Active Directory configurations, and the system's ready to run. Saves a lot of customers time in the test and validation cycles, revalidation cycles that may go into this. The purpose of that was so that they could expand into new markets as well. That enabled them to very quickly address and respond to market demand, to customer demand for feature access within the architecture. And then the simplified management approach, both the user portal from that customer experience, the ability for that customer to deploy and manage their own cloud architectures or their own service usage of this particular approach, and then the IT administrator's capability to also not only manage that environment, but to also isolate the traffic. One of the key things with software-defined networking in general. If you've got external usage occurring within this architecture, you're going to want to make sure that it's isolated traffic, it's not part of your overall corporate network, that you don't have things crossing over. So with the approach that we have with the cloud platform system architecture, we have the ability to isolate that traffic so that it is customer specific and user specific, and the IT administrators can manage it, the traffic on CPS that is specific to their network environment, not the traffic that is associated with that end customer environment. And sometimes I think folks hear Microsoft say, we eat our own dog food. Well, at Dell, sometimes we do too. And sometimes we also gain benefits and experience with our own partners. Another example, and this is an example of the utilization of Azure, that our own experiences. Dell sells a lot of computers, an awful lot of desktops, laptops, especially during the holiday season. Pretty popular gift, pretty nice little thing. I highly recommend it as a way to energize the holiday season. It also results in a lot of traffic. I think folks who in the US, and I'm starting to see the idea of Black Friday or that day after Thanksgiving or the pre-holiday shopping season really kick in. Huge amount of traffic, huge amount of workflow demand. Can put a significant strain on a traditional web infrastructure or traditional IT operation. Dell is without exception in that. The joy of good traffic with customers is the risk of delays, downtime, crashes, bad user experiences. That for all of us, when our customers are coming to our websites or want to access our services, the last thing we want is for them to have a slowed down or a stopped experience. So working with Microsoft, and during that holiday period, we were actually able to expand our website support capabilities, our customer demand capabilities to Azure with expanding, what was it? Sorry, 140 millisecond going to Windows Azure. Basically, taking the capabilities and going significantly beyond the walls and utilizing the Azure services, utilizing the cloud the way we wanted to. And I talk about that a lot. Utilize the cloud to meet your specific business needs, not cloud just because it's cloud. And in this case, it gave us the ability to meet customer demand, to expand beyond the walls, expand beyond the capacity, and integrate the capabilities to meet that peak seasonality. And another example of customers who were looking for ways to deploy large-scale architectures and wanted certain flexibilities in their approach. Singtel in Singapore was very interested in doing CPS types of architectures, other types of approaches to meet their business needs. And working with them and with the Microsoft Cloud Operating System Network, or COSIN, if folks are familiar with that, Dell Services was able to work with Singtel on an architectural design and an implementation plan of a large-scale, large multi-rack type of architecture that stood up a fully validated private cloud architecture, still met some of their specific design requirements, so not quite as specifically defined as we have with a CPS, and enabled them to have a fully integrated architecture, meet their end customer demands and customer requirements, the System Center manageability, Windows Azure Pack capabilities integrated. So a lot of, again, that multi-tenancy, true cloud management approach that we've talked about throughout this presentation. And it brings us to what we can do to work with you on your specific cloud needs, your specific focus on how you want to adopt both cloud and software-defined architectures. With Dell and available this week, we have a lot of our specialists in both the Dell booth and working with Microsoft in the cloud platform system, the cloud solutions booth, that we can talk about our approaches to storage spaces and what we're doing with storage spaces for specific architectural design, reducing the complexity of how to deploy scale-out file servers and storage spaces architectures, and make sure that you have the system tools, system reporting that you need for overall reliability, dependability of the architecture. For private cloud architectures, for cloud platform system designs, we have teams here who can also discuss our approaches to both of those architectures and how those, or how the idea of those, can contribute to what you specifically need to do to define your own approach to a cloud deployment. In addition, From Dell Software, we have teams who are here from our Foglight group, from Dell Cloud Manager, from our Active Directory optimization tools, from the overall capabilities, Aperture, and other systems that we offer to help manage and maintain the environment, again, based on the way you want to define and deploy your overall cloud infrastructure. Dell Services teams are available also to discuss the approach that we have for cloud and software-defined infrastructures, and can help you with, again, looking at your approach, what we can do to drive a configuration together that meets your specific business needs. And with that, so covered, again, an overview of Dell's solutions, software, and services. Welcome any questions. Definitely welcome conversations as we go through the week. I'm here through the week. We'll be available in the Dell booth. Happy to introduce anybody here, also to folks from Dell, for any particular discussion points that you'd like to have. With that, all right, thank you.